Hey guys, it's Mrs. Shevchik here. Can you believe we are kicking off our 10th week of digital learning already? It's insane. Summer is just around the corner, but let's finish strong. We have one last week here. Let's do all we can to finish 7th grade on a high note. So this week we're going to wrap up our work with inequalities, and I'm also going to have you guys do a survey for me later this week, and I really appreciate your feedback on that. It's going to help me plan for the summer and into next fall. And today what we're going to do is we're going to start by practicing more inequality work. You guys were doing a really good job with just the one-step inequalities, and then when we started turning it into solving inequalities and graphing the solutions, I sort of lost some of you. So we definitely would benefit from another day of practice with this. If we were in class doing this for an hour every day, we'd probably still spend a couple days on this. So it's no surprise that we'll benefit from another day of practice. Today your work will be in Schoology, so I'll show you a couple examples as a refresher, and then you can log into there and get working at it. And remember, if you are someone who prefers going through it with a group, join in on my meet at 1 o'clock and we will tackle it together. All right, so just a reminder of how to solve an inequality. So we're going to use this one over here as an example. 10 is less than 2x plus 4. All right, and so the first thing you're going to do is just solve the inequality as if it's an equation. We've done a lot of work with equations. Let's go ahead and solve this just like we would an equation. So I'm going to subtract 4 from each side, and I get 6 is less than 2x. Notice how I brought down my less than sign. I did not bring down an equal sign. And then I divide both sides by 2 to get that x by itself. And I have 3 is less than x. All right, so I did number 1. Step 2 says if you divide or multiply by a negative, you flip the sign. We don't have to worry about that on this one. Then it says write your solution as an inequality. And we have that right here, right? This says 3 is less than x. And then graph your solution. So label your boundary point and a few numbers to the left and right. And I'm going to do that here in just a second. But first I want to talk about the tip I put down here. If you end with the variable on the right-hand side, just like I did up here, you might find it helpful to flip it around so that I have the x over here and the 3 over here. But if I do that, I need to also flip the sign. And so again, this is 3 is less than x, or I can say x is greater than 3. So I can flip it around as long as I flip the sign. And the reason I'll do that is, to me, that makes it easier to do my graph. So I'm going to draw my little sketch of a number line. You just need to have a few numbers on here. I like to do 5. I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I tend to put my boundary point like right in the middle of it, and then a couple numbers to the left counting up and a couple numbers to the right counting down. We just need to make sure that our number line is in numerical order, and it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and graph this point. So this says x is greater than 3. So all the points on this graph that are greater than 3 are going to look like this. So it's an open circle because 3 is not greater than 3, but something like 3.1 would be, right? Or 3.2. So everything greater than that will be going towards the right-hand side. And so there's my solution and my graph for that inequality. Our second example comes right from your homework, but you don't need to copy it down. I just want you watching because I already have this written out for you on your homework. So this one says negative 5x plus 7 plus 8x is greater than 19. So again, we're going to solve it as if it were an equation. I like to kind of draw that line. And then I'm going to look at combining my like terms first. I have negative 5x plus 8x, and that is 3x. And then I have plus 7, I'm going to bring down my greater than sign, and 19. Now I need to move this 7 over to the other side. And so to eliminate the plus 7, I have to do the opposite, and that is subtracting 7 from both sides. And I will have 3x is greater than 12. And now I need to eliminate that 3, and to do that I have to cancel it by dividing both sides by 3. Again, just like equations here. And x is greater than 4. And so my solution to this inequality is x is greater than 4. I see I have a number line set up here. I'm going to just kind of put 4 in the middle, and then I'm going to go 5, 6, 3, 2. And it is going to be an open circle because 4 is not included, and all the numbers bigger than 4 would be those going over to the right. I picked this one as an example for your worksheet because I know sometimes people still get a little confused when they see that division within there. So I figured it'd be a good one to review here today. So I'm going to start by subtracting 12 from both sides. Sorry, I'm going to draw my line first. Okay, so subtract 12 from both sides. That's going to cancel out that plus 12. And it leaves me with x divided by 3 is less than or equal to 5. And then to get that x all alone, I need to cancel out this divided by 3. And so to do that, I'm going to multiply by 3. And if I do it to the left, I've got to do it to the right. And what that leaves me with now is x is less than or equal to 15. I'm going to go ahead and write that on my solution line. X is less than or equal to 15. And finally, I need to put that on my graph. And so I'm going to put 15 in the middle, and then I'm going to go 16, 17, and then I'm going to flip and go backwards, 14, 13. And my boundary point here is at 15. It's a closed circle because 15 is a solution, right? 15 is less than or equal to 15. And then all the numbers less than 15 are going to be those going to the left. So my arrow on this one goes towards the left. This final example actually comes right off of your homework, so you can do this on your homework page as we go through it together, or you can transfer it over there when we're all done. All right, so this one says 6x plus 6 is less than or equal to 42. So we're going to start by drawing that nice little line down the middle, and let's work on isolating our variable. I'm going to start by subtracting 6 from both sides because that will cancel out the plus 6. And I'm left with 6 times x is less than or equal to 36. Then to get x by itself, we need to divide by 6. If I do it to the left, I'm going to do it to the right. And what I'm left with is x is less than or equal to 6. So there's the solution to my inequality. Now I need to go ahead and graph that on a number line. So I'm going to go 6, 7, 8, 5, 4. All right, and so will this be an open circle or a closed circle? If you said a closed circle, you are correct because 6 is included. And then less than or equal to is going to be everything to the left of that 6. And so there is the graph of that solution. All right, at this point, you guys have a decision to make. If you feel like, you want some more practice with this and you're not really feeling quite confident with it yet, please keep watching. We're going to start doing some of the homework problems together. If you feel like you've already got this and you don't need the support right now of the additional practice problems with me, then what I'd like you to do is stop the video now and go practice. And then if anybody has questions, be sure you join me at 1 o'clock today for our Google Meet and we can go through those together. So if you're still hanging on here, that means you might want another example or two, which is awesome. So let's get started. We're going to kind of draw our line down the center here as we solve this inequality. So we have 2x plus 12 is less than 6x minus 28. All right, when I'm looking at this problem, I see we've kind of got a choice to make here because we have x's on the left side. We also have x's on the right side. And so I need to either move this 2x over here or I need to move my 6x over here. And by move, I mean like undo it, like subtract it, right? So you guys might remember that we want to try to move our smaller x's first because that'll help us avoid any negatives. So I'm going to do that by saying minus 2x minus 2x. And by doing so, that leaves me with 12 is less than 4x minus 28. Then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add my 28 to both sides, showing each step as I go. And as I do that, I am left with 40 is less than 4 times x. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 4 to get x by itself. And I have 10 is less than x. Now this is one of those that I said you might like flipping around so that it starts with x first. So you just have to make sure if you do that, you flip it into x in 10, but then this sign right here has to turn to the other direction. So we have x is greater than 10. Now, one thing I want to just pause and show you, because not everybody would have done it this way, is a separate way we could have done this problem that sometimes you guys find yourself in this situation. So I'm just going to rewrite here quick and show you a different approach to this problem. Let's say at this first step, somebody decided they wanted to get rid of that 6x first, and so they subtracted 6x from both sides. Well, now this person has an equation that says negative 4x plus 12 is less than negative 28. All right, so no big deal. We keep going. We're going to subtract 12 from both sides. And when we do that, we still have a negative 4x is less than negative 40. If we got this far, we now need to divide both sides by how many x's we have. In this situation, we have negative 4 x's, so we have to divide by negative 4. Here's where that trick comes in, though, when you're dividing inequalities by a negative number. If you're dividing by a negative number or multiplying by a negative number, in either case, you have to make sure that you switch the direction of that sign. So instead of being less than, it's now going to be greater than. And so we will be left with x is greater than, and then here we have negative 40 divided by negative 4. That's a positive 10. And so we get the same answer as we did over here. We just kind of got there in a different way. If somebody forgot to switch the direction of that sign, though, they would have ended with an answer that would not make this inequality true. And then if I was going to go ahead and graph that one, I'll go real fast here. We would just have our number line, 10 in the middle, 9, 8, 11, 12. We'd have an open circle with an arrow to the right. Those are all the numbers greater than 10. All right, if you got the hang of it, you can stop and go into the homework. If you want to keep doing this with me, make sure you're recording it on your homework as we go. All right, so this particular problem includes using the distributive property. So I'm going to say 5 times 5x, that's 25x, plus we've got 5 times 7, that's 35, and all of that is less than 85. So first step here, now I'm going to subtract 35 on both sides, and I'm left with 25x is less than 50. Divide both sides by how many x's we have, and I see x is less than 2. And I can graph that solution on a number line, make an open circle at 2, and all the numbers less than that go towards the left. This will be the final one from the homework that we do together. The rest I'll expect you guys can go in and tackle by yourself here. So 9x minus 1 is less than 89. So we're going to add 1 to both sides. Oh, this will be a nice easy one. We have 9x is less than 90. Go ahead and divide both sides by 9 to get our answer of x is less than 10. And on my number line, I've got 10, 9, 8, 11, 12. Everything less than 10, I've got an open circle at 10 with an arrow going towards the left. And that's it, you guys. Just like solving equations, you just have to really pay attention to that inequality symbol. So go ahead and complete the rest on your own, or if you're really not feeling comfortable with it, please join me for a Google Meet today at 1 o'clock. The join code that you need is ChefCheck, and I look forward to seeing how all of you do with this. Hang in there, guys. We're almost done. Finish this week strong, okay? Take care, and I miss you all. Bye.